Howdy folks, Laxo here, and today we're going to be showing y'all another World Championship battle. So, a friend of mine requests that I do some critiquing on his team, so we're going to go ahead and show this battle, and going to go through it pretty quickly, skip to the end, and then show some critiquing or critique his team. So, yeah, stick around, let's go ahead and check it out. But don't forget guys, if you guys haven't already subscribed, that subscribe button at the bottom. I'd appreciate it. Alright, so what we have here is pretty much my shotgun team. Usually whenever I go up against a soy phone, I go ahead and run this team just so I could take her out of the game really quickly. Pretty much just a power-up / support team for Muramasa. So Muramasa can kill Soy Phone right out of the gate, because we all know Soy Phone is probably the strongest unit in the game. And, well, most teams that she goes up against lose if they don't have a quick response. Alright, here we go, round 2. So, I believe this team is the team that I have that I kind of just throw out to dry. Just a couple of extra characters I have, or very situational characters that I don't need at the moment I put on this team. Alright, so what happened was, let's see here, what happened was Stogio put marked on, and then Gin attacked the marked target, so that's what happened this battle. I'm sorry, not Gin, Grimjow attacked the marked target. Which, I mean, that was the point of that team, so it is what it is, it happens. So I believe with this team, my thought process was, you know what, this team isn't very strong, so I could just toss one of my weaker teams at it and probably get a win. I didn't really pay too much attention to this one. Alright, the last battle, he just put a bunch of dots on my team, and they went off. But moving on to the next battle here. So, with this team of mine, what I'm doing here is, I know that Byakuya needs a lot of rage to really get the most out of his kit. So I figured, you know, Gin obviously works really, really well with giving rage, especially if it's another unit who is very dependent upon it, so that is pretty much what I am running with this team comp, along with Aizen in the front row, who works really, really well with shields. I do like running him with Ulquiorra because they both do the whole shield combo, I guess you could say. So, also, Cotton Kill Cuts works really, really well with reducing rage, and more importantly than just reducing rage is lowering the rage regen rate. I feel that is a pretty overlooked thing with Cotton Kill Cuts, is her rage, the regen she does. Not the rage reduction, that is nice, but the rage regen reduction. As you can see, if you look at his team now, I'm just hitting them really, really hard, and they aren't getting much rage back because of the reduction from Cotton Kill Cuts. Very, very strong, and probably an overlooked thing about her kit. rather than just the rage reduction. Once again, they broke the shield of Aizen, so they lost rage, and now Aizen is about to rage again, so now when they break this shield again, their rage is going to be reduced again. And then Cotton Kyokutsu is coming in again with more rage reduction and rage recovery rate lowered. So once again at this point, the battle is pretty much over. Alright, so this team is my soy phone team. I have Yamamoto in there just so he can lower, or just so he can stun some targets, you know, get some CC off, lower the rage, so my team doesn't get, you know, the old wombo combo. But I made sure that he is the only one with the start of rage on this team. This team also works pretty well if you're attacking second as well, because most likely they'll hurt Ichigo, which will then feed rage to Soifone, which will have Soifone go off, and then Stark will go off after that as well. Then the team will pretty much be done so at that point. Alright, so I survived that round, not really too much of an issue. I still have a couple procs of ghosts to go off, so I'm not really too worried about people dying at this part of the game. However, I am getting Soifone to finally go off here, so this is going to do some big damage. Boom, and pretty much finish it off. In case you're wondering why Soifone went off twice there in a row, it was because she killed enough units to regen all of her rage back, so then she can instantly rage again. So unfortunately, Toshido went down there, so a large part of my DPS is gone. But I could still do some pretty good damage with Aizen still around. Once again, unfortunately, he is locking Unohana down, so Unohana cannot rage and increase everyone's rage recovery rate. Honestly, with this team, what I've been thinking is perhaps swapping Unohana or Toshido with somebody in the back row. So that's what I've been thinking. Also, I feel like that would help them be able to get more damage off. Sogia no Kotowari is going to drop another fan. This one's on Ichigo, though. But it is very important to get Unohana to go off early, because not just does she increase your rage with her 6 runes, but she also increases the rage recovery rate, which is really important. There are actually not too many units in the game that actually increase just the rate in which you recover rage. There's a few that reduces the rage recovery rate, but there aren't very many that increases the rate in which you recover rage. It is definitely unfortunate that he's locked down Unohana for about 4 or 5 of the 6 rounds that have been played so far. And once again, Unohana is locked down again. All the more reason to once again put her in the back row, because these things would not have happened, and this battle would have been over long ago if I had her in the back row. Like, we're finally going to get a rage off here from Unohana. That is good. Like, we'll be able to hopefully finish 1 or 2 off here. 0 crits. Didn't finish a single unit off because 0 crits. Unfortunate. Unohana is, however, very, very good in the fact that you get her early, and honestly, she's probably the one unit that you really want to get her weapon first for SSR if you're a new player, because having that extra rage recovery rate and rage is actually really, really nice. And, you know, you can't forget healing in general. She just does so much for not just early game players, but in general, even for late game players like myself. She just does so much for a team comp. Alright, getting into the last round here. So Ichigo does exactly what he is supposed to do. He takes out a unit as soon as the battle starts. Once again, that is specifically because I had Nell on this team. That is Resurrection. No, that is this Nell. I've said it a million times, but it is specifically because she starts off with bleed on the enemy team, and Dangai Ichigo gets a huge boost off that dot on the initial round. It looks like the battle is just about going to be wrapped up here. Look at that, 2 blocks. Very, very nice. Let's go ahead and hop over to some oh, look at that, 2 freezes. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and hop over to some critiques here. Alright, so I actually haven't seen, I don't think, any of these teams because wasn't really thinking too much about doing this video here, but let's go ahead and check them out here. So, obviously, I do like the first team here. You have Okiota, good. With Soifone, good. You have Unohana. There's really no need to put Unohana on this team. If you did put somebody on this team, I'd probably say, well, I mean, you could put Unohana for the rage regen, which is nice. But I'd probably say put somebody less mandatory, because Unohana would be better on a different team. Let's see here. Who else? We have Urahara. No need for Urahara on this team. You could take him off, replace him with any other defensive unit, really. SSR Byakuya right here. That's fine. You can have him on here. It's no big deal. Especially if you're a little low on units, totally fine to run him in there. I'm not a big fan of him because he's pretty squishy and he doesn't do much damage, but he's fine. Stark, he's pretty good to have on this team. You probably want to run him after Soifon, though. Yes, you can run him before Soifon. That's totally cool. But if you do run him before Soifon, like here, you probably want to put Warsoul of Shattering on him. And you're probably thinking, that's pretty stupid, ha ha ha, or something like that. No, that's because all of his Sero procs for bleed are based off of chance, which Shattering does increase your proc chance. Call me crazy, right? However, if you're not running that sort, the Warsoul, you want to put him after Soifon because all the procs of damage that Soifon does will either one-shot the entire enemy team or pretty much one-shot the enemy team. And at that point, you really need somebody to finish off those units. And the perfect character to finish off those units is somebody that will re-proc all those bleeds that Soifon just applied, which is Stark. But yeah, other than that, not too bad of a team. I just probably swap out these 2 units. You definitely don't need Urahara on here. Put him on a team with Nell. There's no reason for him to be on this team. If you did want him to be on this team, put him at the very, very, very end after all your bleed units go off, because all he's doing in this case is giving himself a small little shield and having a chance of applying a CC, so, or entangled. So, yeah. Moving on to the next team here. Honestly, this team is a high risk, high reward team here. The reason I say that is, because, I mean, high risk paid off, definitely paid off here. I don't think this is a super duper strong team. However, it paid off when Sogyo landed a Tricked and then Grimjow popped it. That was how it paid off. If that didn't happen, I probably would have won this battle. However, there's a better way to get that to work. As you can see here, he has 2 units that'll attack the entire team, and then he has a column attacker. So, or is it a row attack? Anyways, what you'd want to do is you'd want to put Noel to go first. That way, when Sogyo goes next, that Tricked is going to be applied to a front row unit. Putting it like this it's really not that smart, because Sogyo will go before your front row damage dealers, so it has a really good chance and most likely will be applied to a back row character, which you'll never get to pop. So I highly suggest swapping these 2 units around and then just taking the 33% chance that Grimjow will one-shot the entire enemy team. Other than that, it's not really too bad of a team. It's just really high risk, high reward team comp that not really a huge fan of, but I mean, it paid off and it worked out for you, so hey, good job. Moving on to the next team here. Once again, I don't really like this team comp. I am not really too much of a fan of the all dot teams. Honestly, putting a unit like, I don't know, Ishin here would probably not be too bad. That way he can proc all these dots, because look at this. You have 4 major dot dealers on this team. What you could do is maybe just toss, I know this is probably a dumb idea, but toss one of these 2 units in the front row, which again is a stupid idea and you shouldn't do it. But put, honestly, you could even put Ishin in the front row. Take out maybe like a Rangiku or something, and then put Ishin in there. So next round, if your dots have already gone off, Ishin can re-proc all your dots. Other than that, not really too big of a fan of this team in general. It's kind of a slow team, and you're really, really banking on going up against a team that doesn't have any lockdown at all, or has a very low chance of lockdown. But yeah, other than that, not really too much of a fan of this team. Put Ishin on here, or what you could do is get rid of maybe Mayuri and put in maybe Urahara or something, and then maybe swap out one of these 2 for a turtle or a black tortoise character. Either way, it's definitely more worth it to drop Urahara off this team and put him on a team with Nell. Moving on to the next team here. Team 4, or round 4. This is not too bad of a team. This is more so of a you attack first, and honestly, with 32k initiative, it's most likely that you'll attack first, or at least probably on your server you'll attack first. But in World Championship, definitely not going to be the highest initiative. I mean, 35k on my side isn't even the highest initiative, so this is a you go first and you win the round type of team. As you can see here, He has Rukia to power the back row, and then he has Tosin to do the same as well. And then he has pretty much his two massive damage dealer units right here at the back end to try and finish off one, the enemy team in general, and two, more specifically, the back row. So, not a bad team. I just prefer if you use this team for more of an offensive team as opposed to a defensive. Try and plan to go second when you're really in the high end ranks. But anyways, other than that, honestly, not a bad team. I kind of do like it, so not bad. Let's see here, round 5 here. It looks like what you're going for here is more so of a late game team comp, which is actually pretty good, and I do see it. You have a lot, and I mean a lot of defense on this team. 6-star Ulquiorra, very nice. Honestly, this entire team, I could see it working pretty well. The only thing I'd probably swap around here is maybe put Ichigo here. Unless Ichigo is supposed to be one of your main damage dealers, then leave it as is. Other than that, it's not really a bad team. You have some pretty good front row damage here. And you have Nemu on your team to really try and push it to late game, and Kira on there just to, keep heals low on the enemy team. So honestly, I see where you're going. It's good thought. I like this team quite a bit. Very creative. Nice job. Moving on to round 6 here. Let's see what we are working with. So, one thing I feel like you're missing on this team is, I've talked to Ray, and he likes to run Ulquiorra in the back row, which he should in this specific case. Why? Because you really want Cotton Kill Cuts to be attacked with rage attacks. So most likely you want to put her in the front row so she can get hit with rage attacks, which would help regen her rage. So either put her in the front row or you can leave her right there. Either way, doesn't really matter too much. I don't see any big bursty damage. There is Geen here, but he's more so of a I lock you down with rage. So this team, I do see a win scenario in it, but once again, you're pushing more so for late game. I'd take one of these units you have over here, one of these big damage units that you have on all these other teams. You have 2 and sometimes 3 on some teams, and I drop one down to this team, and I might probably swap out probably Aizen, because he's a unit that locks down rage as well, and you already have 2 units that lock down rage. So I'd probably take out Aizen, maybe put Cotton Kill Cuts in the front row, and then maybe take a unit like Byakuya, for example, and drop him down to this team. That would probably help you out quite a bit. Honestly, it's a pretty good team. I could see where the possibility of winning comes into play, but once again, it's a very low chance it'll happen. Yeah, I'd probably just go with dropping one more big bursty damage unit in here and putting Cotton Kill Cuts in the front row. Moving on to the 7th team here. Gosh, man. It's another one of those things of having a lot of damage in the back row. But the problem with this team is the damage you have in the back row is all based on damage reduction or help that you can get in the front row. And I don't see very much any help at all in the front row. I see units that push the battle into late game. And these units right here, all 3 of them, all 3 of these damage units require some help in the front, and they're getting no help. So honestly, any one of these 3 units on the team on a team such as Team 6 here would help out quite a bit as well. I think on all your teams, you're really trying to push to late game, and that's not a bad thing, but you need to try and focus on getting support for a couple of these teams. Yeah, probably take 1 or 2 of these units and put them on a different team that have enough support as is, and once again, try and help out these back row units that all of them do pretty good damage. They do. They really do some pretty good damage. But they rely on units like Nenny for some extra crit chance, maybe Rukia for some extra defense reduction on the enemy team, even units such as Ulquiorra to reduce the defense, and who else do we have that could probably help them out quite a bit? Sogyo no Kotowari, who also helps out big damage teams as well. So I'd probably restructure that last team. Other than that, honestly, all your teams weren't too bad. I'm rather impressed. It probably should have been a 4-3 win on my part, but I definitely was the one attacking, so I took advantage of a couple of those weaker teams. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate both. And looks like World Championship's going to end up here probably in about 30 minutes, so I need to get to attacking. With that being said, catch y'all in the next one.